We will call the meeting to order.
I have everybody.
Sorry. It's over. I'm moving it over.
9. Okay.
All right. I have asked, are we ready, guys? Mr. Hobson to please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We are moving to number 3A, regular meeting minutes for January 23rd, 2023. Does anybody have any discussion on this? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay. Amber, do you want to call for the vote?
Sure, let's see how this works.
All right.
Okay. Oh, hey, I think I have everybody's name. Hey, Covington? Covington.
Aye.
Hobson.
Aye.
Lane.
Aye. I didn't have it on.
I can hear. Metcalf.
Aye.
Watkins.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Boyle.
Aye.
McAfee is an aye. Boggs.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to B, special meeting minutes, January 31st, 2023. Any discussion? All right, I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the special meeting minutes from January 31st, 2023.
All right, second. All right, Ms. McAfee, can you please call for a vote?
Yes, Covington.
Aye.
Hobson.
Aye.
Lane.
Aye.
Metcalf.
Aye.
Watkins.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Boyle.
Aye.
McAfee is an aye. Boggs.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, number 4, call to the public. Do I have any?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. Number 5, it's a call for executive session.
Madam President, may I make a motion to go to an executive session?
Okay, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Call for a vote? Ms. McAfee?
I think you're on mute.
Oh, me?
Oh,
Let's
no,
see.
there.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Covington.
Yes.
Hobson.
Aye.
Lane.
Aye.
Metcalf.
Aye.
Watkins.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Boyle.
Aye.
McAfee, aye. Boggs.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's go.
All right. Moving on to number 6, action item A, possible legal action regarding IGA with Queen Creek. I need a motion.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
I move that we direct our legal counsel to proceed as instructed in executive session. I'll second it.
Okay,
I'll second it. There we go.
thank you. Ms. McAfee, can you please call for a vote?
Yes. Covington,
Aye.
Hobson,
Aye.
Lane,
Aye.
Metcalf,
Aye.
Watkins,
Aye.
Hart,
Aye.
Boyle,
Aye.
McAfee is an aye, and Boggs.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. B, possible action regarding satellite CTE evaluation.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
I move that we direct the superintendent to proceed as instructed in executive session. I'll second.
Okay. Ms. McAfee, can you call for a vote?
Yes. Okay, Covington,
Aye.
Hobson,
Aye.
Lane,
Aye.
Metcalf,
Aye.
Watkins,
Aye.
Hart,
Aye.
Boyle,
Aye.
McAfee's an aye, Boggs.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Right. Okay, moving on to number 7, consent agenda items. Do we have any discussion or anybody want to remove anything from and have separate vote in
Madam
consent?
President, I just want to make one discussion, not a discussion, but just an item, that action I through O are all travels overnight and all this other stuff. I think it's great that we're sending our students out there and faculty to all these different activities to learn, because there's more, I mean, we need to make sure we continue education.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay,
Madam Chairman,
yes.
I move that we adopt items A through O on the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Madam President, I'd like to offer a second.
Okay, Ms. McAfee, please call for a vote.
Covington,
Aye.
Hobson,
Aye.
Lane,
Aye.
Metcalf,
Aye.
Watkins,
Aye.
Hart,
Aye.
Boyle,
Aye.
McAfee's an aye, Boggs.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 8, personnel. A. Dr.
Madam President, members of the governing board, you'll see action items in personnel B, C, and D. One of the things that we talked about on several occasions is our need to be more competitive in our compensation, not only in terms of attracting staff, but also retaining staff. Last time we were together, I mentioned that we will come back to you multiple times over the next couple of meetings having these discussions, and this is the first of those. As a reminder, one of the things we talked about the time before too is when we just look at the cost of living increase, and I've been the first to admit that I don't believe it's the governing board's responsibility to offset the cost of living increase, but I do know that the reality is that Phoenix had a 9.28% inflationary rate. That makes it more difficult for folks that happen to live in the Maricopa area to to stretch the dollar. So we're consistently and constantly looking at ways in terms of both certified, classified staff. And tonight we bring to you 3 recommendations for hiring guidelines for certified staff, hiring guidelines for hourly staff, and hiring guidelines for exempt staff. At our next regular scheduled meeting, we'll bring to you hiring guideline or compensation for existing staff. So at this point, I'd like our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Perez, to come up and give an explanation of all 3 items, B, C, and D. Ms. Perez?
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board. The first item that you see is the hiring guidelines for the instructional staff. Those are our certified positions. The goal here is when we did our compensation analysis, we're looking at all of the sending school districts that we have in our surrounding areas, as well as some of the other CTEDs in the valley, because those are really our competition. Those are the ones that we're competing against, in addition to some of the positions that are at industry level. We do realize that in most cases, We're not able to compete at the industry level, but we're trying to figure out different ways where we can give credit for additional experience, give credit for in those specific industry areas where we are having a difficult time with. In terms of the salary schedule that we're proposing to you is with the goal that at the very minimum, the base salary for our new instructors would be at $50,000. How did I come up with that? $50,000 is you have the base salary of the $48,545, and all of our instructors have to have at least a minimum of 3 years of industry experience in order to be eligible to receive their CTE certification. When you allocate the $485 for each of the 3 years of industry experience, that would bring him up to that $50,000. In addition to, we also recognize that prior teaching experience is important. In the past, we've capped that at 5 years, so we gave instructors credit for prior teaching, $1,000 per year, capped at $5,000 total. So what we're asking here is for consideration of any additional years beyond the 5 years to be consistent with the years of experience that we give at industry. So those are primarily the 3 changes that we're requesting your consideration and approval for under the instructional staff. Any questions before I move to the next one? No? The next one is the salary guidelines for hourly support staff. Again, very similar thought process in that we're looking at our sending school districts, some of the industry positions. What I must say in here, the only thing that we changed obviously is the hourly base to be consistent with those sending districts and some of the industry partners that we have. But also just wanted to share the experience that we have been seeing with our recruitment efforts. We do post the positions, we get qualified candidates, we interview, but based on the current hourly guidelines that we have, we're not able to secure that candidate. So this is one of the main reasons why we're asking for your consideration and approval of the hourly support staff hourly increases. Any questions on those? No. And not to sound like a broken record, same thought process on the guidelines for exempted staff, salaried staff. Again, similar issues in that in some of those positions, the currently base salary has not allowed us to be competitive in the market. And we've had some of these positions that have been open for several months. And, or in some cases, we do find candidates, but unfortunately, they decline the offers due to the base rate that we have.
One question?
Yes.
With the budget that, like we're having, we can afford this?
Yes, so that's one of the reasons why we're presenting to the board, because the cost of not having staff is equally as high as opposed to not being able to reallocate some of the funds in order to absorb the additional cost. And we'll be able to bring that in the next few meetings so that we can address how we plan to make those recommendations for current staff.
So it makes us more attractive?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. President. So unless there's further questions, Madam President, members of the governing board, that's explanation on items B, C, and D, and there is no explanation unless there's questions for me on item A.
Madam President, may I make a motion?
Yes.
I say that we I'm making a motion for personnel A through D to be one motion and to approve them.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. McAfee, please call for a vote.
We will. Covington,
Aye?
Hobson,
Aye.
Lane,
Aye.
Metcalf,
Aye.
Watkins,
Aye. Aye.
Hart,
Aye.
Boyle,
Aye.
McAfee, aye. Boggs.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, number 9, information and discussion. A, expanding EVIT central campuses.
Madam President, members of the governing board, just an FYI, one of the pieces that we keep wrestling with organizationally as our CTED continues to grow geographically is how can we be better partners to our partnering districts. And You all have been very kind in your stewardship and forward-thinking in your stewardship to expand the Power Campus, to be able to accommodate that section of the CTED that is growing. But what we're realizing is that there's value in looking at expansion elsewhere as well. So specifically looking out at kind of the southeast section, the Santan area, the Chandler, the Queen Creek area, to pursue exploring a third central campus, so that we can partner with our city districts and build specifically programs of interest that they may have. As an example, we know the cost of some of our programs are extremely high. The intent and purpose of CTEDs from the beginning was to make it more financially advantageous to our taxpayers. And so if we are able to lean in and develop a third central campus in that area of the CTED and bring programming of specific interest to those partnering districts, that is a much better cost of, much better usage of taxpayer dollars, and also I believe produces a better opportunity for all students. So not bringing anything to you tonight for approval, but just wanted you to be aware that's where we're headed. At some point in time, we will probably have to pursue that same discussion in the northern section of our CTED. When you talk about the distance that those students in Cave Creek or North Scottsdale are having to travel, that's problematic as well. So I know that was a topic, part of the conversation in our last meeting, and I just wanted you to be aware that we are pursuing the possibility of a third and down the road, potentially a fourth central campus. And I'll bring that obviously to you as we continue that exploration, but I just wanted you to be aware.
Are we
So unless
looking-
there's questions for me.
Are we looking at a building, or are we looking at land to build on?
So we're gonna
Or
look at
all
both.
of it?
Yeah, we're gonna look at both. I think there's different schools of thought. I mean, I think a quicker turn is if we find a building or buildings on a piece of land that we could procure. That's a quicker road to get students in the classroom.
Right.
Challenge with that is you're buying what's there, not necessarily crafting it around
we
the needs that
remodel.
they have. Yeah, so we're gonna look for both, to be honest. And there's ways we can procure through a real estate agent, the ability to go look at those lands and look at those. And obviously I'll bring those back to you, but we're gonna pursue both, to be honest.
Okay.
Okay, wonderful.
Any more comments, you guys? No? Okay. Number 10, action items, return to work options, A.
Madam President, members of the governing board, this is an item that I brought up, I think, 2 times in the last 8 months. And this is a program that is offered in most every other school district in the state of Arizona, in which individuals that retire from the school system have the ability to continue to work for the school system in which they retired. Statute requires you, your first year upon retiring, either to work less than 20 hours a week or to work through a third party. And most school districts partner with a third party, so individuals that retire from us actually get hired by the third party and then contracted with us for a year. And then at the end of that contract, then statutorily they can come back and be full-time EVIT employees. The reason why this came to me is that we have a number of individuals within the organization that are at or getting close to the retirement age. And those of you who have gone down that road know that at some point it isn't in your financial best interest to stay in the system. It's actually better to retire, and then if you want to go work and do something else, then you have the opportunity to do that. The reason why it's important, I think, that we pursue this is that there is a ton of instructors and employees that are exceptionally good for kids, that have exceptional institutional history, that the cost of losing them would far outweigh any angst that may exist by having by partnering with an organization the way that we're proposing. The recommendation is that you give permission for us to work with one GPA, which is a cooperative contract that allows us to procure the services of ESI, which is kind of the agency that runs these.
Yeah.
Then I'll negotiate with them what that looks like and bring it back to you, but I didn't want to go down that road without getting your permission first to do that. So the action item is for us to be able to use one GPA to procure ESI, and then we'll take over negotiating what that looks like and bring it back to you sooner rather than later, so that we can get that part of that communication to our staff, because I know there's quite a few individuals that are calculating what their next step is based on the decision that the governing board makes.
Right, are there any comments? Anybody? No? Okay, I need a motion.
I'll make a
Madam-
motion.
Okay,
Move that we allow them to secure the GMP3 contract per action item 10B.
Madam President,
We're
I believe we're on A.
10A.
we're on A.
10A, sorry.
Second.
10A, okay. Okay, Ms. McAfee, can you please call for a vote?
Yes. Covington.
Aye.
Hobson.
Aye.
Lane.
Aye.
Metcalf.
Aye.
Watkins.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Boyle.
Aye.
McAfee, aye. Boggs.
Aye.
Motion carries.
10B, GMP 3 contract building renovations. I have a feeling we have a presentation.
Yes, Madam President, members of the governing board, we have talked to you several times about the work that's happening here at the main campus, about the renovation of the bistro, the renovation of Building 12, the old banking building, the improvements, the life cycle analysis. You see some of that work happening. Administration, Dr. Doolin and others have worked with Chase to begin the process of really looking at the remodeling of some of our existing space, specifically buildings 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 9, and 10. And in front of you tonight is the GMP3, so that we can continue on the process of actually getting the renovations done here sooner rather than later, because we know that the longer the lead time, the more costly it is and the more problematic the timing is. So this is asked to have GMP3 approved by the governing board, and we do have members from Chase here, should there be questions or concerns.
Can I would like to hear from Chase. There you go.
You can sing whatever song you want.
Members of the governing board, thank you so much for having us. Really appreciate the opportunity. This GMP is our third one now that we brought to the board, and I think what the value is of us kind of taking this approach is we're taking it really proactively, right? So right now in our market conditions, there's some pretty heavy long lead items, and there's items that we know that any space that we really touch on this existing main campus, we're gonna have to do some improvements with. So fan coil units, which is what's going to be procured in this GMP, is what we're really targeting there. They currently have a lead time of 6 to 10 weeks that are out right now from the point of ordering. So this work in 6, 7, 9, and 10 that we're looking to do is going to be occurring basically from post-spring break all the way up until July. So for us to be able to hit those timelines as those documents under development, we need to procure that heavy equipment now to make sure that when we're in that area, we have the ceilings exposed, we can install that mechanical unit and continue to kind of move forward with the putback work that needs to happen to be ready for the fall of 2023. So that's what you see in front of you here today. This is no labor. This is all material only to be able to release all that equipment.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam
You have a
Chairman.
question? Go ahead.
So where does the labor come in? We come back again in 8 or 10 weeks and vote for the labor to install these things, or are they already?
Yes, so probably shortly after, maybe targeting the March 26th board meeting, we'd be bringing the full GMP for the construction work that's going to unfold in 6, 7, 9, and 10. So that's where you'll see all the finishes come in, the acoustical treatments, any new power requirements. Largely, these are the shop areas that are going to be included there. So you're going to see all the other pieces of what that construction work is going to entail around that March 26th board meeting.
And Madam President, members of the governing board, what I appreciate about Chase's approach here is that lead time is significant. And so what they did proactively is we knew that we were going to have those fan coils, and we knew that those are going to be replaced issues regardless of some of the labor that's incurred. And so for us to get those procured and ordered and on the way will allow us to be in a position where when the final GMP when the next GMP is brought to you, when you approve it, they can actually get started right away on the work, or at least on some of it, because the material will be closely behind due to the proactive nature of their scheduling of the GMPs and the procurement of the fan coils.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, I need a motion.
I move that we ratify or accept the GMP 3 contract for building renovations.
Second.
Ms. McAfee, can you please call for a vote?
Covington.
Aye.
Hobson.
Aye.
Lane.
Aye.
Metcalf.
Aye.
Watkins.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Boyle.
Oh, was that my internet cut out for a second? Boyles and I.
Okay,
Put him down
McAfee,
for,
aye,
put him
and
down for an
Boggs.
O.
Aye.
Oh, motion carries.
All right, 11, staff reports. 8, Director of Legal Services report.
Madam
Mr. Kelly.
President, members of the board, as you're aware, last year when you decided to part ways with the Arizona School Board Association, I undertook to rewrite all of the district policies. I recently got all the way through them, but I'm just a lawyer. I don't really know how everything works within the minutia of the district, so passed it off to Dr. Wilson to review, to get his comments, and then subsequently we'll take particular parts that apply to particular people and have them review it so that when I finally present it to you, it'll be in the form that's ready to be adopted. So just wanted to let you know where we're in the process.
Great. Any comments or questions? No? Okay. Superintendent's report. Dr. Wilson, you are up.
Madam President, members of the governing board, the only thing I have tonight is just a happy Valentine's Day to you. That's all I got. So, happy Valentine's Day.
So nice.
That's
Same
it.
to you.
Thank you, thank you.
Happy wife, happy husband.
Life.
Can I still make it to Costco?
Closing
I need
items, calendar.
Go get some flowers tonight.
Dr. Wilson?
Madam President, members of the governing board, we're scheduled to meet again on February 27th. Hopefully at that point in time, we'll have an update on some of the directives that you gave to us in executive session that we can speak a little bit more publicly about. Also, an update on some of the construction projects, as well as the recommendations for compensation for existing employees will come at that meeting. Our goal then is to still get contracts out sometime middle part of March.
What was that date? The 27th?
February 27th.
27th, got it. Okay. All right.
Madam President?
Yes, I
May we
know. I
adjourn the
knew
meeting?
you were, I knew it was going to be you. Is there a second to adjourn?
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right,
Thank you for your
meeting
time
is
tonight.
adjourned. Thank you.